Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another game from the top 16 elimination bracket, double elimination bracket of the Quarantine Cup 2020. But the reason I said elimination is because for these two teams, those being G2 and 44 Biceps, the winner of this game stays alive, and the loser is going to, I'd say they'd be going home, but we're already all home. So the loser of this game's out of the tournament, and that would be very unfortunate for either of these teams. We have a really, really interesting best of one game here on Open Road coming up between teams G2 and 44 Biceps. Team G2 was the number 3 seed going into the top 16 double elimination bracket, but then they find themselves in the losers bracket here because of that game on Pacifice versus Team Lucky Glock. And now on Open Road, which is a custom map, but it has been played a few times in the competitive community. This is for their tournament life here, and they are paired up against the 8th seed, that being 44 Biceps. And they are a team that I actually first saw play, at least for Wolf. I really got a great chance of seeing how he played in the European Nations Cup this past summer. So it was cool to be able to see old names and newer names all playing together. And I do believe we are about to be sending this live just as soon as we figure out whether or not map 5 is going to be played. The way this works, of course, even though we are playing home and away for different matches, right? Whether it's a one game or a home and away game, the teams here have the choice to determine whether or not they're playing the finale, from what I understand. So depending on what they say, if they don't say anything, that means we are playing the finale because we're supposed to be playing 1 through 5. But if both teams decide, no, 1 through 4 is good, then we don't have to worry about that. So we'll make sure that that is in place before we ready up, because Open Road is a map where teams can score a lot of points, but it's also a map where a lot of bad things can happen very quickly due to either hittables, tanks, or a combination of both. And I'm going to be really interested to see how these teams play on this map, solely because it is a map that you do need to practice on both Survivor and Infected side to know how to play it the best. And when you're fighting for your life in the lower bracket of a double elimination top 16 tournament, I would think that the team that knows the map better here is going to be in a much better spot going forward. So we'll see exactly how much that impacts the game. We are going to be playing 1 through 5, Lion for G2 confirming that for us. And as soon as Wolf and Lion both ready up, we will indeed be able to take this live. Tank for the first map is going to be at 79%. We're seeing fairly even pings here, I would say. There are 3 green for Team 44 Biceps and only 1 for Team G2. But with teams that are this good, we'll see exactly how much that impacts the play, because we are going live right here with this game between teams G2 and 44 Biceps Quarantine Cup 2020. It's going to be G2 on Survivor side first, 44 Biceps on the Special Infected. This first hit for 44 Biceps is going to be a Jockey, Spitter, a Hunter, and a Charger, so a good amount of damage potential on this, so long as the spawns are able to land, and this Hunter is going to be going in, managing to do just that. A beautiful near triple cap going out onto Team G2 from Team 44 Biceps. That is exactly what you love to see off the bat if you are a fan of our 8th seed. So for Team 44 Biceps, we have Vigo, Feroxity, Wolf, and Antax. And for Team G2, who are already down a set of pills after that hit, we have Lion, Snipe, Luller, a.k.a. Liz, and Noob, a.k.a. Reg HQ. That is not the start that Team G2 are looking for, especially on this best of one, but they have another hit to be dealing with at this choke. It's going to be a Charger, a Jockey, a Smoker, and a Boomer. So lots of separation potential, but unlike the last hit where they had that spit to really maximize, you have to have these pinners land pretty damn close to one another in order to do damage. Let's see if they can do that on this hit. The Smoker gets a pull in the back, but gets immediately cleared. Jockey cleared as well. Boomer not able to get a spawn. Reg is going to get charged for a split second, and then that's going to be a tri-boom to end that hit. We still have about 20% of the map to go before that tank spawns. It will be up into the hands of Vigo. Let's see what Team G2 elect to do here. I'm fairly sure they're going to have to kill not only these common, but get pretty close to that door. They will not have to spawn the event, however, so this will be a chance for one more hit from Team 44 Biceps. Hunter is going to get shut down immediately, and the spit goes down as well. That Jockey onto Ellis into the back. That is so much damage going out right now on to Liz, and this tank is up in the hands of Vigo, and he's in a great position. The amount of damage that has come out from Team 44 Biceps is incredible for those couple of hits. Like, this is one survivor bleeding, 2 sets of pills committed. They found another set, so they still have 3. But this is really, really what you are able to play off of, depending on what this tank wants to do. He could play rock, he could commit, but first he's going to try to get this dumpster in. This hittable is extremely dangerous for the survivors, needless to say. But in an area that is this wide open, that hittable, it really needs to be used to restrict the survivor's space. And right there we see the boomer going in and dying, because it is also extremely hard to land a boom in that open area. He's probably going to be looking for a smoker or something like that to set up some kind of separation, or maybe a hittable hit. Tank is on second pass, not really taking a massive amount of chip, but he is losing frustration fairly quickly, so he's going to have to go in with what he has here, and it's going to be a smoker, charger, hunter setup for the support. Dumpster going in right over Noob's head, aka Reg HQ. That was so close to being an in-cap. That's going to be the dumpster going back up the mountain as the smoker does secure a pull for this tank to get that all-important first corner, but he's down to 1600 HP. We are going to have the hunter landing now. Charger's going to whiff. Rock is going to land onto Liz, and that will be almost a second in-cap going out. But man, that hittable went directly over Rochelle's head. That was so close to being that down, but good on Reg for knowing exactly where that hitbox goes and not to really change his position at all to avoid that catastrophic in-cap. It is still a great amount of damage, though, going out from Team 44 Biceps. Almost was able to get that second down, but I think it was actually important for that tank to know what he could get in that area. That's why you saw him go for the rock, and I think the rock that he threw at Ellis in that getup was God-framed, which is unfortunate, or that would have been an in-cap, but that is a beautiful amount of spit damage going out with a pull in the front. Ellis there wasn't really able to dodge it and was just in the center of a massive spit pile, and now has to take that last set of pills before the event is even started, so G2 are going to have to make fast work of this, and that's exactly why they're going to be pushing out into these common. There's going to be another hit coming up for 44 Biceps in just a split second. It's going to be a charger, hunter, spitter, and another spawn that isn't quite in yet. So G2, knowing that, are going to be working their way even further forward. Now the hunter goes in from the back, and that is a brilliant double cap going out along with the spit onto Reg. A massive amount of damage. It seems like whenever they've had one of those charged spit hits, Team 44 Biceps have made the most of it, and that was almost either a double or a triple cap going out there, but it doesn't really matter because look at the amount of damage they've gotten onto G2 as they make their way into the safe room. This is going to put 44 Biceps in a position where they might be able to take the lead. G2 finished the first map of this elimination game in the top 16 losers bracket of the Quarantine Cup with 568 points on open road. So here's a case of this entirely depends on how the survivors play the tank. We saw a hittable almost land on the last half, and that, of course, would have changed the tank fight completely. But now, okay, you have a chance to make up a lot of points. You did a lot of damage on the hits that were before and after the tank, but now we need to see really how well Team G2's Special Infected knows this map. Having casted a few of their games throughout this tournament, and I'm reminded of the one I think it was against Team Alkalax on Dead Center, where their G2 Special Infected was absolutely incredible on a one game. They're going to need to have that same level of play here, because this is a best of one for the right to stay alive in the tournament, and they really want to get things probably tighter on Survivor side, and that starts by killing Team 44 Biceps. Let's see exactly how they plan to do that with this first hit. Again, it's going to be a charger, hunter, jockey, and a spitter, so a lot of damage potential, as we saw. 44 Biceps are going to be taking it pretty slow, but they found the hunter on the left-hand side, already shipped down to about half health. The baiting timer is already in. Jockey getting cleared, but the rest of the hit really not going, because that charger had absolutely no way of landing that spawn, and it looks as though he's going to go for a long charge that's going to land on to Antax. That charger doing so much damage. Just absolutely so much damage off that first hit there by Noob. That was utterly unexpected, but it got exactly what it could, because the rest of the hit had already gone in, and that would have been a big problem for Team 44 Biceps had they deal with that charger at the same time. But luckily for them, they shut the hunter down, they shut the jockey down, and then they did eat that charge. They're looking pretty healthy, though, going towards this tank spawn. As the next hit goes in, Smoker Pole goes out in the back, does get cleared. That is going to be a jockey landing in front for a little bit of damage as well. Boomer gets a proxy in the back, and now this Hunter's going to go just for some more chip damage. Good attack by Team G2. Once again, we're going to see the survivors, after getting boomed there, probably holding out and or killing most of the common before they spawn this tank. They're being careful because they know they're getting close to the tank spawn, and there is one hit that is going to be up for Team G2. It's going to be a Boomer, Spitter, Jockey, and a Charger. So some damage potential, but that Jockey is going to spawn because the tank is up into the hands of Snipe. Survivors staying inside for a little bit, getting some chip on this tank, actually, as the tank moves to the left-hand side. The event door is obviously not open yet, so the tank is going to be forced to climb and maybe commit through that window. Let's see what the survivors do. There's going to be a hit coming in as well. The Charger goes in. Spitter does now die. They were saving that for a run-back hit. The Boomer is still alive, so the survivors have the choice. Maybe to try to play chip on this tank. They found where the tank is, and they're going to get double boomed going for that chip, but the tank isn't able to get through the window? Oh my goodness. Snipe went for the climb punch, but those two boards were blocking him from hitting the survivors. He's going to be getting the in-cap now onto Rochelle as the rest of the hit comes in. Hunter's going to land. The tank, with only 450 HP, almost gets another hit. But this is kind of what I mentioned. This is something where that tank was not able to land that climb punch because of those two boards. I'm fairly sure it had to completely change how the tank went through that window. So instead of that being an in-cap right off the bat, or a corner at the least, you know, 44 Biceps are able to survive that tank looking extremely healthy, and they're pushing forward now. They're not playing Survivor waiting for G2 to hit. They're saying to G2, okay, we're going to block the spawns in the back, we're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to kill these common, we're going to force you to hit, and then try to keep this amazing bonus that they have for this first map. They're going to keep inching their way forward as the rest of the horde comes in the back, but really no rush being shown by Team 44 Biceps here. The Jockey is already also down to 1/3 health because of the chip right from those Uzis, and the survivors are gonna hear that Jockey despawning amazingly and then work their way forward. There is only one hit left now for Team G2 on the special infected side. Jockey's way behind, everything from behind. That Charger just had no chance of landing. Spitter goes down on nothing. The Boomer gets popped. And Team 44 Biceps, your 8th seed going into this double elimination bracket, are going to take a 924 to 568 point lead over Team G2. This is awesome. Because as the unbiased caster and admin that I am, I recognize that I represent both the teams in this game, but the caster in me always roots for the underdog. And so far, Team 44 Biceps have shown that they were more comfortable with the map on the special infected side. That's really what I saw there, because they managed to get a great amount of damage on the first hit. They managed to get a great amount of damage after the tank. The tank did its job, got the in-cap and a couple other punches, and then they were able to play that so cleanly on Survivor side. Let's see if they're able to continue that going into this second map. Meanwhile, Team G2, you know, I've seen them play games where they can turn a game around easily in just one chapter. That could easily happen here with this 74% tank if they're able to make it on Survivor side. Open Road is one of those maps. It reminds me a lot, actually, of Old Swamp Fever in some ways, just because it's like, okay, you have a bunch of trees everywhere. It's obviously like a marshland, right? And the other thing about it is that you can score an obscene amount of points on some of these maps. We saw that first chapter, the reason that I said, you know, 44 Biceps could take a fairly, you know, non-negligible lead is due to the fact that you can score as many as like 1,200, 1,400 points, something like that. I am not sure what that means, but it's really, really important, I think, to remember that any single one of these maps, especially on a one game, which is why I love them when they're possible, you know, we could see either team really, really extend the lead or take this game right back into control for them. And that's exactly what G2 is going to look to do on this second map of Open Road in this elimination game from the losers bracket of the Quarantine Cup 2020. We are just waiting on Lion to ready up, but that first hit is going to be a Spitter, Boomer, Hunter, and a Smoker, so not the most amazing first attack that you'd want to see here. You'd probably want to see a Charger if you're on Special Infected or something like that, but they're going to have to make do with what they have, where they can. Once again, the tank is going to be at 74%, and it will be Lion's tank when it spawns. Survivors for 44 Biceps are going to be working their way to the mouth of this tunnel. They are going to be clearing these common with a fair amount of shotguns. I think they're actually, they're running 3 shotties and 1 Uzi. For a one game like this where they have the ping to be able to do that, I think that's an awesome idea. And for them, it's going to allow them to once again just basically go at their pace. They're going to be shooting common on the right-hand side. Boomer does spawn up, and that is going to be a pull and then a pounce. But the spit misses the pin survivor and instead goes back onto Feroxity, who is playing with 160 ping. So the spit didn't hit the intended target, at least from what we first saw, but still ends up doing a fair amount of damage, plus having these common infected come in from the back. So the survivors, being double boomed, are going to work their way to the ladder choke. They have to go down into this sewer kind of area underneath the marshland. They're going to drop 1 survivor down. That's going to be a jockey landing in the back, and the Charger going for a curving intercept off of a tree, but it's a beautiful pounce down below by Reg HQ, forcing the survivors to run through the spit. That is a ridiculous amount of damage from that hit. That is exactly what you want if you are Team G2. That ladder choke has proven to be a real challenge for teams in this tournament, and they made the absolute most of it. Beautiful pounce by that Hunter to capitalize on the separation. I understand trying to go down there to block the spawns and take the choke, but that was just something where it happened a little bit too fast, I think, from that Hunter for the survivors to deal with it their way, because they kind of panicked and ran through that spit and took a fair amount of damage for that. Boomer did go in and die, so we should be seeing either the quad for the ladder or at least a Spitter once again. Infected are going to be pre-spawning. Indeed, it is going to be the Spitter that was already in the queue that they were looking to use to the best of their ability with this Charger spawning up top now. Jockey as well. Smoker's on top of the bridge. Charger and Jockey are both in front of the survivors. And this is the real challenge from the survivor side. It reminds me a little bit of the Parish Map 3 choke, just because of the fact that survivors really got to stay together on these hits. But that is going to be a pull charge spit with a Jockey landing as well, but not at the same time, to set that damage up. So a fair trade, I would say, from the survivors and the SI. The SI will be happy with the damage. Could have done a lot more, however. So 44 Biceps in the meantime have popped 2 sets of pills and are going to be working their way forward. Maybe to get the tank up right about now, and indeed it's going to be up in the hands of Lion himself for Team G2. Member of G2 for I don't even know how many years, one of the best players from the Russian and EU scenes. He has some work cut out for him right now on this tank, however, because 44 Biceps are going to be playing in a fairly open area. They're going all the way back down into the sewer, and they're going to get double boomed in the process. So there's going to be Horde that's going to be trying to find its way in. The Charger does land down below as well for a bit more damage, but here's the problem with this ladder choke. You've got all these common who are just going to be running around on top of it and not really going down. Survivors are going to be working their way down into the sewer, and those common really aren't going to be able to find an amazing way down there in a way that the survivors can really kill. So they're maybe going to be straggling in for sure, but I'm actually looking at where Lion has put himself right now, because he's going to be coming in from the back and the survivor's going to be running him forward. That's going to be a pull going out, but Lion's being forced to go in. 44 Biceps are just rotating on him, running all the way forward. There's the Hunter dead. Oh my goodness. Lion coming in from the back still, but they have this tank directly in their faces, trying to go back up the ladder, but Lion manages to get the corner onto Nick after his SI support already went in, throwing punches around on the survivors and getting the down there, but he's down to 790 health. This fight not going the direction that I think 44 Biceps would have liked it to. 3 incaps going out. Great reaction from Lion, but there's the boomer pop. Tank is going to drop down, but the tank is going to die. What an insane tank fight that we just saw. The call to push forward. Oh my goodness, what an amazing level by Wolf. I can't even talk about the call to go forward yet, because the survivors are still surviving this tank beautiful level there by Wolf. But the call to go forward really, really needed everybody to go up the ladder at the same time. And it's happening again where there is a split going on, but that M2 and Uzi Skeet by Antax really saving the day there. Smoker's gonna spawn up in the back too. This is unfortunate for Team 44 Biceps because they've given G2 a wonderful opportunity to capitalize on this, and they're doing just that as the last survivor is finally going to be picked up. But there's a smoker pull again, going out to Nick on the bottom. This ladder, and the charge is gonna land as the survivors are still up top. This is just Team 44 Biceps being picked apart by G2 after that tank. It's all because of that call to go forward. But man, they needed to clear that ladder and not get caught downstairs. And the SI support going in the way that it did, the Hunter got killed, but that jockey was utterly incredible for Team G2 to keep 44 Biceps from pushing this ladder. There's still a survivor who needs to be picked up on the top after that tank fight. So 44 Biceps are still alive and making points, but they just got absolutely beaten up by that area and by that tank and that SI support taking such great advantage of it. That Charger's not going to land, but we are going to see a one boom with a Hunter jumping in to get the claw down onto Wolf. That's going to put 3 survivors black and white, Antax, Vigo, and Feroxity. Wolf has taken his first in cap. They've already taken all the pills, and now Antax is already trying to make as much distance as he possibly can because they're not making the safe room with any kind of bonus unless they find a couple sets of pills. And they also have 3 survivors black and white, with one of those survivors being at 8 HP, that being Vigo. They have to be super careful because any hit could mean death at this point. And for Team G2, it's the Smoker, Boomer, Charger, and Jockey coming in. The Smoker's going to get shut down. The Jockey's going to get killed. The Boomer hasn't gone in yet, and we do see a pause going out by Vigo for Team 44 Biceps. Going back to that tank fight, Lion was committing the tank in to get behind the survivors, essentially. And then the survivors were like, okay, the tank's behind us. We're going to run forward. He was on second pass like 60% as he was following them. And they had him outran so long as he was up the staircase there, the metal staircase. And it just turned into a huge problem for the survivors because even that Jockey, for that split second, if anything like that were to have happened, they essentially die. They're not dead and they're still making distance points, but obviously any kind of bonus is gone. They're relying on pills that they just found. And kudos to Team 44 Biceps for surviving that situation, but I'll be real interested to see exactly what Team G2 does on Survivor side next chapter as well and how it turns out. So right now we have next hit from G2 coming in. Hunter lands in the back. Boomer gets popped. Charger goes for a long charge, does not find it, gets a couple of punches and manages to kill Feroxity. Lion getting the kill with those Charger punches. And now these 3 remaining survivors for Team 44 Biceps are going to be pushing through Horde as they keep working their way forward. It's not a disaster quite yet for them, but once again, it's possible to score a massive amount of points on any one of these chapters. G2 looking to end it here with the Smoker, Boomer, Jockey, and Hunter. Boomer gets a double boom and a Smoker pull. Does go out in the back as Rochelle gets in cap. So now it's just Antax left in the front who was hoarded and got jockeyed. That's the wipe going out on a Team 44 Biceps by Team G2, bringing Team 44 Biceps total for this one-game elimination match to 1,395 points through the first 2 maps of Open Road. Yeah, mixed bag. Really, really mixed bag on Survivor side there, just due to the fact that obviously they did survive the tank, but not in an ideal circumstance. I think G2 might want to try to fight it in the sewer there as well, but they might try to... I don't know. They might try to just stand in one spot instead of doing the rotation call forward. Those kind of high-risk, high-reward calls really, really can work out, and maybe due to how well they did on the first map, Team 44 Biceps felt more confident in making that call. I don't disagree with it, but it had to go perfectly. It didn't quite do that, and G2 now have a chance to capitalize on their special infected work last chapter. First hit for Team 44 Biceps is going to be a Smoker, Boomer, Hunter, and a Spitter. So again, the same 2-2. And G2 are going to be running a 1 shotgun, 3 Uzi lineup, interestingly enough. So not the 3 shotties we saw out of the gate on the first half. We are going to have the shotgun going forward now and having that hunter spawn. Boomer is going to get popped as well. Reg getting that shutdown, but also separating outside is Liz on this hit, taking some really unnecessary damage there after the first part of the hit did get shut down. So nice capitalization once again by 44 Biceps, but a fairly clean take by G2 as well. They're going to be looking to push close to that first of two ladder choke. And this could be a big hit from 44 Biceps. They have a lot of room to spawn. They have the charger already going up top. Survivors have made their way down. Boomer's going to go, not going to find a land, but that's going to be a jockey landing and a charger coming in from the back with a one boom as the smoker got cleared in the front. So, okay, a little bit more damage going out, but good on G2 to basically say, we're going to go down the ladder before the SI are ready. And because they did that on Survivor side, they didn't take a massive amount of damage. However, they do have another attack to take involving a ladder after they get past these stairs. Right now, it's going to be a 2-2 for Team 44 Biceps, Jockey, Spitter, Hunter, Boomer for this next hit. Might be seeing some kind of pounce like we saw on the last half. Jockey's going to pre-spawn on the top right off the bat. And the Survivors are going to bait this because they have no idea. They can guess what the SI have, but they have to be really careful due to the fact this is a one game and due to the fact that any kind of damage here would be unfortunate. And that is almost what we saw from that spit, but the spit is not going to do damage to those two Survivors in the front. We do see a double boom going out. So actually a triple boom going out onto the Survivors. So they're all just going to be standing there. Lion is like a turret on the top, and they're going to push up through that boom horde and take an okay amount of damage. It's really, really nice for Team G2 that they were able to shut down those pinners from getting any kind of multi-cap, and also that they didn't take any spit damage. So the next question is going to be, what kind of hit are they going to deal with after they spawn this tank? We already have a charger into the spawn queue as the tank now is going to spawn up for Team 44 Biceps into the hands of Wolf. Like I said, the first time I really got to see him play was in the EU Nations tournament this past summer. He did a stupendous job in that tournament. He's looking to continue that here in this elimination game. We're seeing G2 do a completely different strategy, deciding not to go down into that sewer, but instead to take the tank on top of the highway here. That means that we're going to see some hittable play involved in this. It's a smoker, a charger, and a jockey for the commit hit as Wolf looks to make his way in with this first car, swinging it around, almost hitting Nick, and it is going to hit Nick! That's going to be an in-cap going out onto Reg immediately, and that's going to be Wolf looking to maybe try to get the kill on him, but instead, the car goes forward, jockey lands on the Lion, that's an in-cap, punch going on to Rochelle, absolute demolition of Team G2 by Wolf. The first hittable in-cap, the punch that sent the Survivors back even further, the car onto Rochelle, that jockey onto Lion, absolutely incredible special infected play coming out from Team 44 Biceps as this tank with just under 3k HP is going to be kiting Liz back towards the safe room as the next set of spawns are coming into queue. Boomer spawning up, but it's just one Survivor versus the tank. Single boom lands, punch lands as well. Survivor going in the opposite direction. The Boomer stumbling the tank on top of that, but it really is just extra icing on the cake that Wolf just baked for G2 in that wipe. Smoker pull lands onto an in-cap Survivor because Left 4 Dead 2 is Left 4 Dead 2, but great job by 44 Biceps to extend their lead through these first two maps. I don't know. I really don't like hittables. That's my thing. I am really not a fan of going to a place where there's a bunch of random-ish. Like, obviously, you can aim hittables, right? But there's an element of randomness that happens in Left 4 Dead 2 physics and with hittables at certain points. It's like, that was only successful for Team G2 if they didn't eat a car. And just, as you saw, the first hit from Wolf, right, that sent that car close to the Survivor, it just rolled. It rolled back up onto Reg HQ. Like, that was super unfortunate. But again, because they were fighting the tank there are chances for that kind of thing to happen. I'm not exactly sure where the Survivors are going to choose to fight the tank on this chapter, but it's going to be at 80%. And I don't know, with this kind of lead now, it's a 500-point lead, so still nothing conclusive, right? But if 44 Biceps are looking to stay ahead, they're probably going to be looking to find a place to fight the tank where they can survive, right? Because if they make another map and they make another save from with bonus, that's going to put even more pressure on G2. Meanwhile, G2 are going to be looking to do the most damage they can on this map. There's an event, the survivors have to hold out inside, but because it is a one game and all the pings are fairly even from what we can see, you know, they're going to have to make every single hit count. And then on survivor side, it's going to be the team that paces themselves better in the map that ends up taking this home. But already an amazing match between these two teams. So grateful to everyone joining us for this and those who are still fans of competitive Left 4 Dead 2 in 2020. So let's see what Team G2 decides to do with this first hit. It's going to be a Charger, Jockey, Spitter, and a... If I had my spec cut up, I would be like a professional caster or something. Oh, it's a Hunter. Cool. So it's a 3-1 with that charge spit. Really, really good to get a massive amount of damage off this inside hit. Liz is going to be the tank for Team G2 this map as well. So that will be at 80%. As I mentioned before, survivors are going to be taking their sweet time. Once again, rolling with those 3 shotguns and with the Uzi on Nick this time, I believe, that being Vigo. So we're going to look to see some skeets and some shutdowns as they work their way outside, but once again, playing it really cautiously, clearing out all of the common and going at their pace. We see the go, go, go coming out. That's going to be a Hunter landing, but a Charger going for the same target as the Jockey lands onto Antax for a quick splash of spit damage, but not really a anything like a multi-cap going out there. Clears were quick, and they are able to work their way forward without really any problem. They're going to start the event by opening those glass doors and now work their way upstairs to fight the rest of this horde. It's going to be a Smoker, Charger, Hunter, and Boomer for this hit. The Go-Go coming out again as the Hunter goes in and takes the Smoker's target, I believe. The Charger whiffs in the corner. Boomer has absolutely no hope of landing anything in that area from that spot. So ensuring to die last. Probably looking for a spit hit at the least, but a quad cap would be fortunate for G2. Not a whole lot of damage going out because in this spot, it's so survivor-sided. So long as you have somebody blocking that room where you see Ellis standing and somebody also watching the survivors on the stairs, but also standing far enough back to not get multi-capped or double charge, this is really, really hard to land anything if everybody plays it well positionally, and that is exactly what we're gonna see. There's the skeet going out onto the Hunter by Antax. That Charger had no chance of landing. Focus fired by the survivors, taking advantage of those shotguns and that Uzi in that small area. Great play so far from Team 44 Biceps on this map, but they still have about 40% to go before we get to that tank fight. Lots of chances for Team G2 to do a fair amount of damage. It's going to be a Smoker, Charger, Boomer, and Hunter for the next hit from Team G2. Hunter spawning and getting chipped just a little bit in the front. Charger's going to lead in from the back. Triple boom goes out, but once again, because that Charger was focused down, no real damage going out. Like, sure, there's some common chip, but we're seeing Team 44 Biceps, you know, deal with each one of these hits on their own terms, as I keep mentioning. And I say this in a lot of games because it's really important to note the team that plays Survivor, right, and the one that has the infected coming at them to where they can hold S, they can shut down a lot of things. And that's exactly what we just saw right there. Let's see if Team 44 Biceps manage to get this hit to go, I don't know, maybe on the stairwell, but they're already positioned as though they want to spawn it and then jump back so that they can kill this hit before that tank fight without taking a massive amount of damage. We're going to be seeing Antax going for that top of the staircase. He is going to get wall kicked and pounced, and then that's going to be a stumble that goes out as well from the Jockey landing that allowed Antax to jump up on the railing instead of taking that full spit damage. That is some real wild Left 4 Dead 2 things here in 2020. Game never ceases to amaze us. Let's see if we can have an amazing wipe coming out from Team G2 here. The tank is up into the hands of Liz for G2 as the survivors, Team 44 Biceps, have worked their way forward. Lots of space, it seems, for the survivors to be able to work, but the tank is going to be going for that police car hittable from the forward part of the map. That is going to land in the tree? Okay, so the cop car is in the tree, and the tank has to rock it out. Manages to do so with that E-Rock. Nicely done. But now the tank is going to have to hit that through this fence at the survivors. And that's going to be a challenging window to get that car through. Trying to knock it over the fence here, but still not quite able to get it. And the survivors are now going for Chip. There's the car going in and splitting the survivors in half. Tank going for the corner onto Rochelle.
Boomer gets a single boom. The survivors are completely split. The tank is going to be hitting the car onto Antax there, who gets pulled. A beautiful double punch going out as well. Liz doing absolute work with this tank. The hittable is going to go close to the survivors, but is not going to land, and the tank is going for the wipe instead of the kill. Smoker's going to get a pull. That's going to be a clear going out in the front. Tank is down to 1k HP, but is separated from the hittable, and Liz is going to work her way out with 35 HP left. Oh my goodness. That hittable hit was exactly what Team G2 were looking for. They played off it so well. Smoker's going to go in there trying to land. Jockey goes in, lands under a shell. The tank is dead, but the jockey gets cleared. Oh my goodness. Team 44 Biceps managing to survive what was an amazingly played tank by Team G2. That initial pull and hittable in cap, you got to ask, should they have gone for the death? Should they have gone for the high percentage play there? Liz went for the wipe because she had the survivors split on that side, but the survivors weren't able to go down fast enough before the rest of the team was able to kill the tank, and now they're going to be able to keep going forward with permanent health still on Vigo. Again, 44 Biceps, great job of recovering from a very precarious situation, and a great job by Wolf, who shuts down the Boomer and skeets the Hunter in one shot. You love to see it if you're rooting for 44 Biceps. And for Team G2 now, this is going to put the pressure onto them on their survivor side. Honestly, if that hittable lands, and we just saw it land on this half, right? But if Team 44 Biceps can get the down and then grind out even a kill, that would be what they would be looking for on the special infected side. This is going to be Team 44 Biceps facing one more hit as well. That's going to be an M2 going out onto the jockey, but the charge spit was able to land to get Ferocity down, and we're going to see some spit damage going on to Wolf as well, but that will be the final damage being inflicted on Team 44 Biceps, who are going to make it into the safe room so long as they don't close the door on each other to bring their total score to 2,131 points over Team G2's 884. I'll say it right now, this map is huge. This chapter is absolutely huge because, once again, we've seen 44 Biceps make the safe room, and now the pressure is going to be on Team G2, who made the safe room on map 1, but wiped to a hittable tank last round. Again, in that area, like that cop car, Team G2 did a great job of using it in the tank fight, getting the in cap, but again, the same opportunity is going to be there for Team 44 Biceps. Let's see which team makes the most of it as we go live with the second half of the third map of this single elimination game on open road in the Quarantine Cup 2020. First hit for 44 Biceps is going to be a Hunter Spitter Jockey Charger for Team 44 Biceps. I'm looking that Charger wants to actually come from the safe room as we have a pre-spawned Hunter outside. That could do a decent amount of damage, but Nick is doing a great job of blocking those spawns. Hunter's going to go in now onto the Survivor who is outside, and now we're going to see the Charger go in for the cover and the Jockey going for it as well. Charger gets a slam inside, and that is just about the only damage from that first hit for 44 Biceps. G2 going to be looking to make short work of this map, getting their way through these chokes. They know they can probably try to get the event started and get in position before Team 44 Biceps is ready to hit them again. Let's see what they decide to do as they work forward. They're running still with that 2-2 lineup of 2 shotguns, 2 Uzis. That's probably good for this room, but the key is going to be able to block those spawns, and this is not the start that you like to see if you are Team G2 in the slightest. That Jockey landed in the stairwell, but then got cleared, I believe, from a Boomer proxy. Almost had a survivor around the corner, and then Liz got that skeet onto Ferocity, that 4-shot on the top, as those 3 other survivors were boomed. So great survivor play there from Team G2 to avoid that damage, but the next hit is already up for 44 Biceps. Charger, Boomer, Spitter, and Jockey for the next hit. Let's see how they decide to send it in. They're probably going to have the Jockey lead for that Charger, just because that Charger can get annihilated in that area so long as the survivors are paying attention to it. Spit spawns after the Boomer and Jockey both go, and the Spit's going to go down in the back for a couple ticks of damage, but G2 playing this super, super clean so far on Survivor. Let's see if they can continue to do that as they work their way downstairs, going outside after the event. The hedge maze is next. There is some separation potential and some potential for spawns in between. The Hunter's going to spawn up to make the survivors slow down as the rest of the hit comes into queue. Going to be a Hunter, Smoker, Boomer, and a Jockey, and the Hunter does land up top. There's a survivor separated. Oh my goodness. That is going to be Liz being taken back into the hedge maze in an absolutely amazing team effort from Team 44 Biceps for the in cap. The Hunter landed first, the Smoker was looking for it, managed to get it, and then the Jockey managed to complete the tri-cap of one survivor. That's now forcing Team G2 to reset, and the Charger is already up for Team 44 Biceps. There's the charge spit going down onto Lion in the corner, who gets jockeyed by that same jockey for almost as much health as he needs to commit a set of pills. That is an incredible couple of hits by Team 44 Biceps, as G2 have finally reunited with Ellis, who was down in that hedge maze. Lots of pre-tank damage now, obviously demoralizing when you get separated, but let's see what Team G2 are able to do now. They're going to get double boomed again. The Charger's going to land a double charge, and 3 survivors are separated up top. That is a ridiculous amount of damage. That pounce is going to get spat on for the other in-cap. Team G2 are falling apart on open road. This is really unfortunate for them, but once again, the separation going out. This time it was Lion who was too far forward, and the double charge plus the Hunter up top is a colossal amount of pre-tank damage. There are so many ways now for this tank to almost secure the wipe or just have absolutely no bonus left for G2. I am so ridiculously hype about this, because it's been the story of the special infected so far for 44 Biceps on this map. Let's see if they can continue that with a Jockey, Charger, Boomer, and a Smoker. Do just want to remind everyone that Finale is being played, so we will expect to see 5 maps of gameplay here as the tank spawns up into the hands of Antax. Smoker pull goes out, Charger misses the charge but gets a single punch, and now let's see how Team 44 Biceps decide to play it. Tank is going to go for that same cop car, but here's another problem for G2. They have 3 people bleeding and no pills. They're going to have to actually work this forward. It looks as though they're going to be pushing the tank and really forcing the issue instead of bleeding out back there. They need to play aggressive because of the health that they have, but it's a Boomer, Hunter, and another spawn coming into queue for 44 Biceps right now, that being the Jockey, and the tank is down to just about 4,700 HP, throwing this rock, throwing the car in as well, rotating around. The survivors are working back the other direction, but one survivor is split. The Jockey does land, but the tank is not quite there. That's going to be a missed punch as well, going out. Antax trying to corner Rochelle, managing to find it now onto her and getting a beautiful multi-punch onto Lion. That's 2 in-caps going out. Antax going for the wipe with the police car, not quite landing it yet. Spawns are not in queue. It's 2 in-caps, so no wipe from that tank, but a spectacular amount of damage. I like the call by G2. They had to go forward there. They had to fight that tank in that forward spot, because if they'd stayed back there, bled out, and then took the same amount of damage, they would have absolutely no speed to reach the safe room, but that Charger is going to land. Smoker lands as well. Rank is still down. Huge amount of damage. Huge amount of damage going out. I mean, and it's been a combination of the tanks and the hits once again that have allowed 44 Biceps to win this map, so long as they are able to get maybe one more hit before the safe room. G2 have 1 survivor slow in the back, and it's going to be just limping the entire way. Next hit's going to be up Jockey, Boomer, Hunter, Charger for this hit, and survivors are still limping. Like I said, this entire path to the safe room, they really can't move fast whatsoever, to the point where we're seeing the mounted gun on top of the van being used. Here comes the final hit from Team 44 Biceps. Jockey going in, not gonna land, but there's the Charger landing onto Lion for the in-cap, ripping him directly off of that white van I was talking about. He's down, there's 3 survivors boomed, and these spawn timers in zone mod. Man, for any players who have been around for a long time, you know exactly how short these special infected spawn timers have become. That is not going to help Team 44 Biceps, though, because G2 are able to get into the safe room prior to that next hit being up. But once again, it's 44 Biceps taking the map. Another 136 points in their favor. 8th seed leading 3rd seed into the 4th map of open road here. I mean, this game can still turn around. That's the thing. These last 2 maps, like, okay, the finale is interesting. We've kind of talked about, okay, in other maps, if there's a finale that's super long, such as Blood Harvest, right, and people just don't want to play it because it's like, okay, you're gonna do home and away 1 to 5 Blood Harvest, and Blood Harvest finale is what Blood Harvest finale is. Open Roads finale reminds me a lot of Blood Harvest finale, and it's better in my opinion, but it's also something where, you know, if you get a wipe, an early wipe onto someone, you can score an obscene amount of points. Same thing is true for this fourth map, and it's going to be a 39% tank that G2 are going to have to try and do just that in terms of stopping 44 Biceps and then making up these points. And it's going to be up into the hands of Noob, aka Reg HQ. Charger's going to go in off the bat, managing to land an intercept after the jockey lands outside. That is unfortunate for Team 44 Biceps, and well played by G2 to get over 40 damage on that first hit. I don't know, the Survivor's pacing there looked a little bit off, and the Infected, essentially they went for the guy who was split and then hit the intercept on that Charger. That is exactly what you love to see from the Special and Infected side of things. But now, Team G2 are going to have another hit coming into Q. It's going to be a Spitter, Hunter, Charger, and a Smoker for this hit. Survivors pushing their way forward into these spawns. The go, go, go. Coming out in team chat, Smoker pull does go in forward, as that is a Hunter landing on the same target. Charger comes from the back and is able to find absolutely nothing. These long charges have been really, really hit or miss this game so far. It seems that some of them that originally have no chance of landing end up doing so just because they are surprising, but you also got to see how Chargers run into the hitboxes of trees and things. Let's see if they decide to have a Charger for their support on this tank, because it is up right now into the hands of the one only Noob, aka Reg HQ, for Team G2. He's going to be pretty far away from the Survivors, who are going to get one boomed as they're working their way back. This is a pretty Survivor-sided spot, I would say, for being near the safe room. The tank really doesn't have a whole lot of options here other than to get closer to the Survivors before his rage starts going down. He's already losing rage now on his first pass, down to 65%. Survivors have made their way back outside. There's really no way for him to bleed them. I guess he could try to play Rock, but it's going to depend on what he wants for this support. It's a Smoker, a Jockey, and a Hunter. It would appear as though Reg is going to decide to go in with that, and indeed he is, already down to 4.2k by the time he reaches the fence, and the Smoker pull misses. That's going to be a death onto the Smoker. Rochelle is separated, doing a great job of kiting around. Jockey is going. Hunter manages to land. Jockey gets M2. The tank is going to get a couple of punches after that Rock onto Ellis, but actually manages to get the in-cap onto Ferocity there with 400 HP. That is the really difficult part about playing in that area. It's like, whenever you have an open area for the Survivors to fight the tank, it's like, okay, you let the tank get close, but in some of these spots, you need to land pins for the tank to get any kind of damage, and that's how we saw the one in-cap go out there. That was a nice job by Antax to kite around on Survivor side, because that Smoker missed the early pull, got killed, Jockey got M2 and shut down, but that Hunter was clutch for Team G2 Special and Infected to get that damage for the tank. However, it's obviously not the wipe they were looking for here. They're going to have a pull, a charge, and a spit land on to Antax in the front. There's a Smoker pull going out as well with a double boom, but the Survivors are fortunate to not be stumbled back into spit. I don't know. Every single hit really, really matters right now for G2. They got to keep doing damage, and they're going to have a chance to get some kind of insta-kill if they're set up for it at this bridge up here. I don't know, because that last hit going in, I think, had both a Charger and a Smoker, so now they might not get those for this. Let's see if they do. They're going to get the Charger and the Spitter instead, so no Smoker for the death pull, but a bowling charge here would work just as well, if not better. But the Survivors are really not waiting around for it. We've already seen Rochelle clear the choke. Hunter spawns in the front. Rochelle trying to back up. There's the Charger going in. Not going to land. The Pound Spit does land, but any threat of an insta-kill no longer exists for Team 44 Biceps, and they are still pushing their way forward. They only have a handful of hits left, if that, and if they keep moving this way on Survivor, they're going to be able to try to outpace G2 as they go forward. I don't know. They survived the tank. They survived the choke. They are doing a great job of maximizing their health and distance on this fourth map. And they have this next hit coming up to deal with from G2, which is going to be a Boomer, Smoker, Hunter, and a Charger. Smoker spawns in the back, but the Survivors back up. Charger comes in, does not land. We do see a momentary double cap from that Hunter and that Smoker. But once again, the most important part of the hit, the Charger was shut down. It's a good amount of boom damage going out, because all four Survivors are indeed covered in vomit. But that's just only going to slow them down as they keep going forward. It's a lot of Horde. It's a lot of horde to deal with, so much so that Team G2 now are going to have another hit. It's going to be a Charger, a Spitter, a Jockey, and one more spawn coming into Q in a second is going to be that Hunter. Lots of damage potential here, but the survivors have already cleared out forward. Antax taking the point there once again and clearing out. Looks as though the hit is going to be coming in on this head choke. This can also do a great amount of damage. G2 already have the Hunter pre-spawned in the front, looking to get the wall kick. Charger's going to be coming from around the hedge, it would seem. There's the Hunter going in, Jockey going in as well. Charger's going to wait for the survivor, who was already pounced, to stand up and then charge inside of Vigo. Great play from the Special Infected to lock Nick's movement in that spit. He was one of the highest permanent HPs on Team 44 Biceps, like lifting weights. He was one of the largest bonuses left, but this is not looking good for G2 at this point. They haven't gotten the wipe. They've managed to get a fair amount of damage. Boomer gets M2'd and shut down. Charger spawns in the front. Hunter gets skeeted. Charger does land, but does not get a slam. That is a smoker getting cleared in the back, and that is also Team 44 Biceps in this best of one, making the safe room on open road map 4 to bring their total to 3,235 points. If there was anyone looking for an upset from this game, so far, I think we're looking at it. That's what I had to say, at least through the first 3.5 chapters of this. It's been a great job, honestly, by Team 44 Biceps to, just as I kept saying, but it's worth repeating, I think, right, to take advantage of every single opportunity that they had, and that included, all right, we took it down on the tank, we took some damage at these hits, but we're making maps, we're making safe rooms, we're putting the pressure on. The thing is now for G2, if anything happens, right, that isn't equal to or better than what Team 44 Biceps just did, they're not going to keep pace. But more than that, not only are they not going to keep pace, but if they wipe at the tank in some freak way, or they get hit as they're running back, or they have someone go flying over the bridge, you know, in Left 4 Dead 2, you really like to be able to control the game on the survivor side. And now, in order to do that, Team G2 are going to have to play. They're going to have to play, like I said, as well as we've seen Team 44 Biceps do it on Survivor side. But there have been just so many opportunities that 44 Biceps have used to get so much damage. That stuff in the hedge maze last map was really unfortunate for G2. But it showed how much chemistry Team 44 Biceps have on the Special Infected side. Let's see if that does remain the difference in this game. It's going to be a Freoxity tank at that 39% spawn, and the first hit's a Jockey, Charger, Smoker, and a Boomer from 44 Biceps on this. That's going to be a Smoker looking for a pull on the side, managing to get it. Jockey lands. There's still a survivor outside. Charger jumping on the generator and getting stumbled by the Boomer. Great kiting there by Liz to avoid the Charger, as that charge would have been unfortunate for Team G2 out of the safe room. Instead, they only take 5 damage, and that's what they're going to have to keep doing. They really can't afford to take any damage on these hits prior to the tank, because if for whatever reason, you know, a survivor is bleeding in that area, we could see the tank try to play some version of rock. We have a hit coming in right now. Nice kick going out by Reg, but not able to get the... Not quite able to get that triple cap, our Team 44 Biceps. That was close. Hunter got shut down, and now we're actually seeing, I don't know, it looks from the Special Infected side of things on this map so far that they're hitting when the survivors want them to, at least up until this tank, and that's going to put some pressure onto Freoxity. But if there's anybody in the community who can do it, it is a player of his caliber, and he is actually walking this tank all the way back to get the log, I would say, and then hit it over the gap, which it falls into the water, meaning that it's out. I was gonna say, if that tank just like dove over the wooden side of that bridge, that railing, I would have freaked out. But it's really good for 44 Biceps that they do know the map to that extent. I like the idea, because if he managed to get it over, that would have been great. And the entire thing about this is, so long as he commits in on G2 and doesn't go AI, which I don't think he's going to, honestly, I think he can get there. This is just allowing his SI to set up. He has the hit that he wants, and so long as he starts getting sight in the near future, we should be seeing him able to commit. And it is worth mentioning, as that Boomer gets shut down, huge pop by Lion, but Freoxity is playing with 170 ping, so if you see any kind of long arm go out, that would be the reason why. Boomer dies because the tank has sight, but the tank is going to be committing in with 2 spawns, actually, as we see the survivors starting to back up. G2 looking to shut down this tank. The early pull is not going to land, but there's the first punch on to Reg. Rest of the hits coming in. Tank's going to get almost another punch onto Coach there, but actually was whiffing for a split second. Smoker pull goes out, and another punch is going to miss. That's a 2-hitter Tank. Oh my goodness. G2, as I think I mentioned at the start of this chapter, taking advantage of the fact that that tank really needs help to do damage, and they took no damage on the hits prior to the tank. They took the tank almost flawlessly. Feroxity wasn't able to hit all of his punches, and now they're going to be going like through the map in the direction of the bridge once again with 4 people high green. Like, their lowest survivor right now is Lion, and he's at 63. As long as they take these hits well, they'll be in a good position, but that's a brilliant double cap and a jockey forward after that tank onto Reg. A beautiful amount of damage coming out from Team 44 Biceps off the 2-2. Those are the hits that we were seeing before this. Oh my goodness. Just when you think one of these teams has the momentum, something else happens that makes us go, hold on, and that was what that 2-2 was. It's going to be a hit now for the bridge for 44 Biceps as well. Smoker Charger, so they have the death charge and the death pull potential. Hunter and Spitter up in the queue as well, but they did not hit on the bridge because G2 were not going to risk taking a death this late into the map, even if that meant they had to run through some common, and they are making way on Survivor side right now, clearing out and going forward. Infected seem a little bit behind them, but now they're coming back together. There is some separation out as well. Hunter's going to go in, managing to land on Rochelle with a spit going down on top of that. The Charger is only going to go in right now and gets a brilliant double charge onto those survivors. Reg just went flying up that hedge like he was tossed. That was like someone using a survivor as a javelin in the Olympics. That was ridiculous. But that is an awesome amount of damage on that hit once again. Just the plays keep coming from 44 Biceps. It is awesome to see. This choke is not going to get used to the most that it probably could have by them because the survivors already made their way past. But that's a single boom going out. Jockey going in is going to get cleared. Hunter Smoker going in at the end, but that's just going to be chip damage now going out onto Liz. G2 are sitting with just about a 400-point higher bonus total than Team 44 Biceps had, and there aren't that many hits left. If 44 Biceps can try to knock another couple hundred points off of this, they would probably be okay with that for this map. But G2 are going to work their way forward to another hedge, and this choke can be pretty deadly for the survivors. There's lots of spawns for the special infected. They can jump around on top of this bridge, come from over the hedge, and it looks as though the survivors, being wary of that, are going to wait and just send Ellis forward first to clear some of those common. Ellis and Rochelle, both with shotties, working their way into this next area, but it's a Charger, Boomer, Spitter, and a Jockey for 44 Biceps. Lots of damage potential, especially in a place where either double charges or just charge spits can land. Multi-cap potential as well, and the baiting timer's down to 22 seconds before it turns off. Boomer spawns up, gets a single boom in the front. The Jockey does get shut down. Charger's gonna drop in and not manage to land, but the spit does go down and send Snipe into the slow range as the rest of that horde is still trickling in. That's going to be one final hit coming into queue now for 44 Biceps, but G2 are doing the best they can to get as close to the safe room as possible before those spawns are into queue. Let's see what 44 Biceps can do with it. It's going to be a Jockey, Hunter, Boomer, and a Smoker for the last hit. G2 already working their way in, picking the Hunter, but there's a big split. Rochelle going to the left-hand side, maybe just to try to get some space, but almost some separation going out. That's going to be Team G2 making the safe room to bring our score totals to 3,235 to 2,908 going into map 5. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a game we have seen so far in this losers bracket of the Quarantine Cup 2020, this second round of that losers bracket. Both of these teams have played extremely well this game, and now it's going to come down to this finale. And honestly, like I said, this finale can go one of two ways. It's like, which team is going to make the escape vehicle with higher bonus, because both teams are going to, right? Or you can have both teams die at one of the two tanks if they don't play it correctly. But another option is you have one team die almost immediately on Survivor or to the first tank, and you can score so many points on Survivor if that happens on the next round. It is so demoralizing to wipe to one of these tanks, but that's exactly what Team G2 are going to have to do to 44 Biceps, most likely to win the game. Might be some quad ideas in this field, but I mean, with both teams playing on fairly even ping, and for a one game like this, you know, you have 3 players on 44 Biceps who have green ping, but then you have Feroxy with 170, whereas Snipe and Liz and Lion are all orange, with Lion at like 99, Snipe's at like 76, so it's not amazingly far off at all for a best of one scenario, in my opinion. But that does obviously mean that every single attack on this last map is gonna mean something, because there are only 327 points separating these two teams, and now it's going to be, actually I think it was more than that, it was like 300 and Rails can't do math points separating these two teams. But Team 44 Biceps are going to be on Survivor first, looking to take this first hit. Jockey jumps in, not going to land. The Spitters pre-spawn down below. Hunter lands a 4 damage pounce, and the Spit goes in and gets body blocked by Antax as the Survivors jump into the field. Now, this field, very reminiscent of the field in Blood Harvest, that map 5. They have to be so careful that they don't get separated, but that's exactly what's happening, because Feroxity, playing with that high ping, is getting absolutely commoned right there in front of the safe room. That's going to provide Team G2 the opportunity for a quad in this field. It's a Charger, a Jockey, a Hunter, and a Smoker for the hit. The Survivors are being careful. They know not all the spawns went in. They're all going to be spawning really far away to start. Smoker pull does go out. Hunter manages to land. The tongue gets broken. The Charger lands, so no quad cap. Just a few staggered special infected pins. That Smoker pulled, and I think when the Survivors turned around, as soon as they got that clear, the Hunter landed, the Charger landed, but that was the chance of the quad already dealt with and shut down. So good on Team G2 for getting that amount of damage, but again, they really need a wipe, because the more the Survivors stay alive on this map, the tougher the task is going to be for them to bring this back. Let's see how Team G2 plan to kill 44 Biceps with this hit right here. It's going to be a Boomer, a Spitter, a Hunter, and a Charger. Spit's going to go in first to make the Survivors move. Charger manages to land on the left-hand side, but does get cleared, and that Spit was actually touching both Survivors over the top of that hay bale. That is a nice job by G2 to maximize that area, because Team 44 Biceps are playing this really tight together. We got all 4 Survivors in one corner, one each on top of the 2 hay bales in the on the sides, and then 2 Survivors on the stage. So Team G2 are going to be looking to make them move, and that's immediately what that Spitter does again, but this time the Survivors kite into the left-hand corner with the Spit dead, and manage to clear that tri-cap. More damage going out from Team G2. This has not been like a picture-perfect clean game, I would say. Like, both these teams have done damage on Special Infected side, and that does add up depending on how coordinated the Special Infected are being. But this is the damage that Team G2 are going to have done prior to the tank, which is up in the hands of Liz herself for G2. Let's see exactly what she's able to do with this as she climbs to the top, trying to keep sight atop of that train. But now the Boomer's going to spawn in the front, not going to land. Rock's going to go in, not going to land either. Charger gets a punch. The Smoker gets a quick pull, but then does get cleared, and I expect Team 44 Biceps to LOS at this point, and that's exactly what we're going to see. So, they're split right now. The tank has 5,900 HP, and... Oh, it's a man? Okay, awesome. So, he is going to be climbing onto the top. Excuse me for that lack of being able to tell what gender Liz was. But, so, his tank is going to be up there. My apologies for that. Still keeping sight. 5,955 HP. We have a double cap landing onto the Survivors, and a Rage Rock onto Feroxity. That did not do damage, but if I'm 44 Biceps here, we can't be allowing this to happen. They have a tank that they're dealing with that has 90% frustration on first pass. Rock's going to go in, not going to land on that hitbox. That would have been a hitbox if Liz were able to hit that, but it's not quite landing. Charger goes in, is going to miss. Rock is going to go in as well, getting skeeted. Charger gets 2 punches, and now it's just a boomer up for Team G2 on this hit. I do believe they have to kill both tanks at this point in order to take this game. Rock is going to go in and not going to land on that right-hand side. Boomer's going to spawn up and does get a brilliant double boom right there off the top of that barn. Lion managing to deliver as Liz is going to be looking to commit his tank from the roof, going on the survivors, but one survivor's way split. Feroxity was way split there, but manages to land a skeet. Feroxity running into the corner, juking the tank as well, backing up. This tank is missing punches. Oh my goodness. Finally landing the first punch onto Rochelle, turning back around, whiffing again, and that is a dead tank that Liz was not able to deliver on for Team G2. They had the split onto Feroxity, but with that 167 ping, he nails the Hunter Skate, jukes a punch, and then only takes 1 punch from that tank. This is detrimental for Team G2 now because not only are they going to have to survive both tanks, but they're going to have to make it, and they have so much more damage to do on to Team 44 Biceps. Nobody taking an in cap yet. Spit's going to go down again, looking to split the survivors, but everything dies. The Hunter dies, the Charger dies, Spitter got no damage, Boomer got a single boom, but that's really nothing going for Team G2. An incredible job so far from Team 44 Biceps on the survivor side in general, but this map, they still have a lot of hits to take before they reach that escape vehicle, and I do believe they have another tank to deal with, which will be up into the hands of Lion. It's a Jockey, Hunter, Smoker, and a Spitter right now for Team G2 on the special infected side. Jockey spawning down there on the left. Hunter looking to come in from the same door, but everything goes for the same survivor in that corner. Everything dived at Antax at the exact same time. The Hunter, the Jockey, and the Smoker Tongue, which means Lion is going to have a lot of work to do as this tank spawns for him and his team. He's climbing up to the top now, looking to keep sight in the same way Liz had on his tank, but unfortunately for G2, they're going to have to probably not play Rock on this, I would say. They can bleed them for a little bit, but we're going to probably see some kind of commit here. Boomer bunny hops in, Charger misses, Rock misses, but the Boomer did get a single. Let's see if the survivors choose to LOS in the same spot as they did on that last tank. I don't believe they're going to. They're making sure to stay around the barn and breaking sight, but Lion, despite their efforts, still has 60% of his first pass. Next hit coming into queue is going to be a Jockey, Smoker, and a Boomer. Let's see what they decide to do with it. This tank is now getting chipped for just about 500 damage. Jockey lands in the back, is going to get cleared. Rock goes in and almost lands, but Wolf saves his teammate's life with that Rock Skeet. That's going to be another Rock going in from Lion now, but still nothing really going on the special infected side. They are going to have one survivor slow, however, so Antax, if the tank is able just to get close to him, it would be a immediate in cap, but Lion's going to be going second pass. He's going to be getting shot again here, trying to bleed out 44 Biceps as much as he can. It's going to be a Charger, a Hunter, and a Jockey coming into queue for his SI support, and as soon as this tank comes in, I expect to see Nick just immediately hold S in the opposite direction to make sure that the tank cannot get to him. But here comes Lion for Team G2 with this final tank already down to 3,500 HP. Survivors in the same area as we saw before. The Hunter gets cleared. The tank is going to take that pin. Jockey's looking for something in the back, managing to get it, but the Charger misses. Not able to secure the multi-cap on this. Our Team G2 and Lion's tank is going to try to decommit, but that is the kill. 44 Biceps still alive with a bit of bonus here, looking to upset Team G2. That Charger almost lands, but isn't able to delay the in cap. Spit is going to spawn up and try to do the same, but once again, really nothing going. And now 44 Biceps are going to work their way towards the escape vehicle. They still have some distance to cover, but they have really done what they've needed to do so far on Survivor's side, and they're going to have two tanks now to deal with G2. That is a single boom going out onto Rochelle in the front. Hunter Smoker from the back with a Jockey as well somewhere. Not quite spawning yet, but that's going to be a pull getting cleared onto Rochelle, a Hunter getting shut down. Smoker gets a repull, Jockey manages to land, and that's going to be the in cap onto Rochelle, but Antax and Wolf are still holding permanent bonus They are not quite dead. This Charger is going to try to maybe delay this pickup, but actually is going to wait because the survivors have already done it before he is able to spawn. There's the Charger trying to land, getting instantly cleared. Once more, Spit going down, really onto nothing, and Team 44 Biceps make the finale of Open Road in this elimination game to bring their total to 4,167 points. 4,167 points to 2,908. Oh my goodness, the hype is so real. And now the question is, will the tournament's number 3 seed in this double elimination stage be sent home here on Open Road, or are they going to make an absolutely spectacular comeback? I can see either happening. I still believe this is anybody's game at this point. 44 Biceps have continued to separate themselves over the first 4 maps. But like I said, G2 has the ability to make this finale and win it on bonus, but they're going to be up against a special infected team that has done a splendid job throughout this entire game of just maximizing the damage where they can. And I don't really expect that to change, especially on this map. The thing about it is, when both those tanks committed for G2, right, the survivors kited them into the same area. There's that bus, there's that tree, there's a hill you can run around on and try to juke the tank. And that's exactly what happened the first time. And then the second time, once again, because the area was so open, that Hunter needed to land for that tank to do any kind of damage. They were looking for a wipe-in area that is really, really survivor-sided, so long as the survivors are able to shut something down and pay attention to where they stand. Let's see if G2 can do the same. Let's see if they can make the comeback, and let's see if Team 44 Biceps can stop them from doing that on this map. It's going to be a 2-2 to start once again for Team 44 Biceps. Boomer, Hunter, Spitter, and Jockey. Looks as though the survivors are going to drop everybody down at the same time as they work their way outside. Boomer's going to look to spawn up from around the corner, and it's going to land a beautiful double boom. Jockey lands in front, taking a survivor away from Spit, but then back into it. So just about 36 damage on that first hit from Team 44 Biceps. But we're going to see the Horde being cleared. Well, I originally was going to say it was being cleared better than we saw in the last half, but Ellis is still pretty caught behind, and that might give 44 Biceps the chance to get some kind of hit. I don't know if they're going to rush it and try to send it in before Team G2 are out of the field, but it looks as though they're actually just going to have the spawns to do it. It's going to be a Charger, Smoker, Boomer, and a Hunter. No quad cap, but still the potential for a lot of damage based on separation. Charger pre-spawns. We're going to see the Smoker landing, but then getting cleared. Hunter manages to land. The Charger does die. Smoker's going to look for a pull just to delay once again, and okay, I mean, it's chip damage. It's definitely something on the board, but again, G2, they have the chance to make so many points on this map. We saw the round 1 bonus, right, being 132 for Team 44 Biceps, but G2 right now are sitting at 1,598 points in terms of health bonus. Like, as so long as they shut these tanks down and don't get some kind of insane multi-cap happening to them inside, they should be in a fair spot. Charger's going to look to lead that hit, but not going to land it. The Spit was able to land into the corner, but really not onto anything. Those pinners looked like they had a hard time getting up there, and now some of the pressure really is on Team 44 Biceps on the special infected side. They have to make every hit count. They have to do damage on the tank. They really, really have to keep hitting with cohesion, but also keep doing what they were doing before, when it's like, okay, when the survivors are in a bad spot, or if they're in a good spot, how can we make them go to a bad spot? They need to make the survivors move. Charger manages to land a charge from the window onto Nick, and then we get a momentary double cap from that Jockey and Smoker. That's a good amount of damage onto Nick. That being Snipe, already down to 43 HP. And I don't actually see... Yeah, no, I don't think the survivors get an extra set of pills in this config. So this means that the 4 pills that Team G2 have are all they're going to have. And I believe they are going to look to save them for this tank fight as long as possible if they are to go slow. Spitter goes in to start and doesn't really get a whole lot, just a little bit of damage, but maybe that's because the tank is going to be up into the hands of Antax. Boomer gets a single boom. Tank is actually in the field rather than being on top of the train. Hunter's going for a DP, but this tank in the hands of Antax is actually going to be going back and looking to keep sight or do something to the survivors by going in on this right-hand side. Sneaky job by the tank to know exactly where to go. Better than I did in this example, and now the tank is going to be able to take almost no chip. Great use of map knowledge from Antax to still be at 100% health and 65% rage on the first pass. Tank's going to get into position maybe to do a rock or something like that, but now there's going to be a hit coming in onto G2 at the same time. There's a huge amount of separation, but the survivors use their space really well. That Jockey, Charger, and Hunter had no real chance of landing onto anyone on Team G2. Tank is going to try to arc a rock there, and I actually think it's possible. If the tank throws it perfectly, you can hitbox them on that right-hand side, but it is extremely difficult to do, and Antax is going to be forced to go in with this for this commit. Going to be a Hunter, a Boomer, and a Smoker, so multi-boom here would be amazing. Any kind of separation they can get, maybe if the Hunter can set up a pin, that's what they're going to be looking for, and the tank is pushing in from the right-hand side. Beautiful Boomer shutdown going out by Reg on to Wolf. In that moment, we're going to be seeing a double cap attempt going in, but the tank is still not able to catch anyone. Antax has not managed to capture Rochelle, and that's going to be no damage so far. Almost no damage, and the tank goes AI. Oh my goodness. 44 Biceps is saying, not like this. G2 only committing one set of pills so far. The pressure on this second tank is going to be insane. Okay, this is going to be a tank that needs to almost wipe G2 to maintain this lead for 44 Biceps. That tank really wasn't able to get much of anything, and this hit is going to try to get some spit damage in the corner, but that's all it can get either. G2 are sitting at a 1,376 bonus after that first tank. And they kited it so well. They ran the tank around the barn. The tank came in from the right-hand side because he didn't want Team G2 using that same area to juke him out the way that they had juked G2's tank out on the last half. But it didn't work out. The survivors have so much room to run that there really needs to be attention paid to setting that tank up for some damage. That's a nice double charge off a double boom, landing in the corner. But once again, just about 800 points of damage still to do to that bonus if Team 44 Biceps are to hold on. This is exactly the kind of competitive Left 4 Dead 2 you love to see, and I think it's amplified obviously by the fact both these teams know the person who loses is going home, and one of the main people to decide that now is going to be Freoxity for Team 44 Biceps. Oh my goodness. He had a tank in an open area the last map and wasn't able to get a tremendous amount of damage. We're going to be having a rocket coming in now. Going in, not going to land, skeeted by Liz. Freoxity looking to make the most of this first pass. Only one survivor bleeding, and there actually are extra pills. They found another set, so this is now really, really unfortunate for Team 44 Biceps. They have to get close to a wipe. Exactly like I said before, they have to look for a separation, they have to force them into the field, they have to do something incredible on the special infected side to stop G2 from making an utterly incredible comeback. Let's see if they're able to do it. Let's see if the tank actually decides to send this or not. We're going to see a smoker pull go out on the right-hand side, but not land. Boomer gets shut down by Lion. G2 have the momentum, and they know it. This is super, super unfortunate for 44 Biceps, but G2 holding strong. Rocket's going to go in, not managing to clip Rochelle. Honestly, I mean, okay, there are a couple chokes where you can do damage, really one choke after the event ends, but this tank has to do double the amount of work because that first tank really didn't do much of anything for Team 44 Biceps, and Feroxity is going to be committing this tank, the last one of the game, for his team in from the right-hand side. SI are already spawned up, going in, but the survivors are kiting the tank around so well that there's nothing really behind them, and G2 are going to keep running him into that corner, but there is going to be the Hunter landing. We have a corner onto Snipe. Snipe is not quite down, but this tank is forced to decommit. The tank only has 1,288 points of health remaining. G2 are still sitting at 1,063 bonus. Between the time that between right now and when they step on the boat, Team 44 Biceps need to do something like 600 damage to the bonus. This tank has 20% health on second pass, working close for a rock, throwing it around the corner, not going to land it, and the tank looks as though it is going to die, but as a hit comes in, there's a hunter onto Reg, who is a little separated on the side.
Weapons over here.
That is some damage, but G2 still have 918 bonus. This is going to be so heartbreaking for 44 Biceps if G2 complete the comeback as they seem to be right now. It's going to come down really to one final hit. Charger, Spitter, Jockey, Boomer. Let's see what 44 Biceps can make happen. Charger spawns up, does not land. Boomer shut down. Jockey is killed. Team G2, your number 3 seed going into the double elimination bracket, pulls off an incredible comeback. 4,588 to 4,167 in favor of Team G2. They pull it out at the end with a picture-perfect Survivor side after a game that 44 Biceps had them rattled. And that is just something that a team like G2, who have played together long enough, who have done as well as they have, and who have done extremely well in this tournament recently, this is how they get themselves kind of back on track, because they are going to be advancing to play Team South Stars in the next round of the losers bracket of the Quarantine Cup 2020. Incredible match. Absolutely incredible match. That is what you love to see as a caster, what you love to see as a player, what you love to see as a spectator. And thank you so much to Krycha for streaming that game, to both the teams who are playing, of course to the admins of the Quarantine Cup 2020 for their hosting, and to all of you for watching that game. We are going to be having more matches later today. One of them at 6 p.m. I believe is going to be between Lost in the Sauce and I want to say Duplex. And then the one tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, which I will also be casting, is the game between Evo and Alkalax, aka Aqueducts, Woshini GG, whatever you want to call the admins team. And that will be at 7 a.m. tomorrow. But again, absolutely amazing games coming from both sides of the bracket. I have been Rails Barlow, your caster and one of your tournament administrators / moderators for the Quarantine Cup 2020. Thank you for watching once again, and we hope to see you soon.